Yo, what's happening, Raider Nation? It's your boy Soto here. You know what it is. Raiders versus the world. Talked about the team that the world loves to hate, your Las Vegas Raiders. Well, week 15, all right? We're playing the Eagles, the reigning Super Bowl champs, at the Eagles. They're on a slide. What better way to get right than to get at home and against a team that's one of the worst in the NFL? And guess what? The line, it reflects it. The last time I checked, it was Raiders plus 11.5, which is a big number in the NFL. But when you consider the elements and you consider the Raiders play indoors and you consider the upheaval in the quarterback position and you consider a lot of the young players playing nowadays, and then you consider the fact that it is, the reigning Super Bowl champs, 11.5 doesn't seem to be that out of the realm of possibility. There are some changes. There are going to be some changes this week. We're going to read between the lines a little bit. Some of them a little bit more overt. Some of them a little bit more direct. We're going to listen to Pete Carroll a little bit. We're going to talk to a couple of guys on the offensive side of the ball as well. But we want to take a look at what's happening in this game. What has been the issue with the Eagles this last 3 games? Well, the last 2 games, I believe the major problems for me that I see is the fact that they're not able to run the ball consistently, right? They're not able to give Jalen Hurts the time to throw and give him open throws. They've done a lot of contested throws, and they've been able to turn the ball over. Excuse me, the Eagles have turned the ball over quite a bit these last 3 games. Well, we're not great at turning the ball over. We're not great overall at stopping the run. As the last few games, we've been known to get gouged late in games, and we really don't put a lot of pressure on the quarterback. So the things that teams are doing against the Eagles aren't things that we do consistently. Can we do it? Yes. Can we do it for a quarter or maybe even a half? Sure. But we're not really that consistent in doing it for an entire game. Add into the fact that we're on the road, add into the fact it's going to be near freezing at game time. Those are things that are going to all come into play. I still think 11.5 is a big number. Betting wise, we'll see. But there are some serious areas for concern. The Raiders traveling all the way back east. So they're playing early, in the East Coast, weather, all this stuff. It all adds up. So there's a couple of things that we had to think about there. Let's hear Pete Carroll in his presser to give us a few more things to think about. Here's Pete Carroll.
Geno? Yeah, that he's not practicing today. We're going to go day to day, like always, and see how it turns out at the end of the week. Kenny will take all the reps to get ready and get prepared in the event that he gets a chance to play.
How confident are you in Kenny if he does have to go, in fact, on Sunday?
I love the way he prepares and practices. He looked very good in the game the other night. We saw, he did some really nice things, big plays, and escaped a little bit, got a little bit of running in. All of that looked really good. So if he gets the chance to go, that was a good lead-in for it.
You mentioned on Sunday that Aiden would be available as well and ready. Will he be?
Yes, he's ready to go.
How many practices would Geno need to have before you'd feel comfortable about putting him out there?
I'll just wait and see what it looks like, what he feels like. Oh, I don't know. I don't know. I don't have a set determination on that. It'll be from the gut.
Are you going on the injured reserve list?
No, I'm not on. I'm playing. I'm playing. I can play.
What happened with the thumb?
Well, I probably should have learned a lesson here. That you can catch punts and kickoffs in your 60s, but when you go and get in your 70s, I would encourage other people to not try to catch punts on the jugs machine with those rock balls that they kick down there. So that's just a little suggestion on behalf of some of the elderly, that help out.
I don't think a lot of 7-year-olds are trying to do that anyways. So.
Might be the case.
That's probably true. Is there any way to potentially prepare for the weather? I know you can't do it here.
There's nothing much we can do, we just have to be mentally right for it, and we got to take care of business. And as always, and when you get those kinds of, if it is an adverse situation, we just got to deal with it and do our stuff right as best we can. They have to do the same thing.
guys, anything else?
Pete, you described Kenny's throw as exquisite. How would you describe Shedrick's catch of that throw?
It was perfect. The play was a perfect play, and the ball was ripped. Split the safety, and the ball was right on the money. And Shedrick looked like he'd been there his whole life. It was a really great play.
A lot of guys can say their first ever NFL catch was a touchdown.
Yeah. Yeah. He was really excited about it. He didn't really nail his celebration. But next time I think he'll be a little bit better at it.
This season's not what you hoped for, but are you still able to appreciate those kind of moments that happen during the season?
Yeah, I like to think I specialize in that, trying to see the moments and along the way always, and just try to maximize, all of the good stuff that happens and learn from the other stuff that happens, learn from the good as well. And particularly that was kind of a, guy gets his first chance to dress and first game and all that kind of stuff, and Kenny gets his first shot with us. I thought that was just a unique one, and a special one in particular.
Is there any concern that Geno's injury could be long? I know you said day to day, but is there the way it's looking that you think there's a chance that it could be?
It's gonna all depend on how he responds to the treatment, and they're doing an elaborate process here to get him right and make sure that he's okay. And we won't know until we get through that. We don't have any indicators yet, so I can't tell you. Am I concerned about him? I'm concerned. I always want our guys to get back as soon as possible. And I know as a competitor, he wants to get back out there as soon as he can possibly get there, and he will. He'll do that.
Heating companies get pissed when you do this, but they can't do a damn thing about it. This heater warms entire rooms in under 2 minutes.
Will his health be the only determining factor?
Yes.
You said Aiden's.
And I know as a competitor, he wants to get back out there as soon as he can possibly get there, and he will. He'll do that.
Will his health be the only determining factor?
Yes.
You said Aiden's ready to go, but if this happens to linger, where does he kind of fit in? How has he looked since he's been back?
We've given him a lot of turns against the defense, so he's had a lot of reps. He hasn't had much with the offense, but he will. That'll gain here with this opening right now. But he's done well, and he understands the scheme. He's a very bright player, has good confidence in himself. He carries himself well about it. Just like you've seen him play, and he's thrown touchdown passes, and he's played NFL football before, so that's all really important to him. So we'll see how he does. I would think that he'll play fine, and we think we know him, and we know how to call a game for him, and feel comfortable with that.
Dante was out last week with a concussion. How's he progressing in protocol?
He has passed his protocol, as far as I know, so he'll practice tomorrow. He passed just this afternoon, just like an hour ago.
Where's Michael Mayer and his recovery?
He's going to practice today, and we'll a little bit limited, but we'll just get him through it for the first day out. But hopeful that he can make it back. I know he's dying to get back out there.
We've asked a couple of times about Colton too. Is he close to being able to practice?
Yes, yeah, he is. He's getting close. He'll do some stuff today with us for the first time.
As for Maxx Crosby, how's he doing? I know he missed a couple of days of practice. He played on Sunday, I know, but he missed a couple of days of practice. Do you anticipate him missing any practice time this week?
Yeah, we're going to keep it quiet. He still has kind of a nagging concern with his knees sore, and so it's not damaged, hurt. It's just sore, and as y'all know, when he plays, he bangs it as hard as he can in all aspects, and so he warrants a day here, and we'll see what happens tomorrow.
You got practice this week, but has Caleb done enough for you to say that he's kind of the right guard right now?
Well, he'll start this week. As things are going, he did a nice job last week, first time out. There's plenty of areas for improvement, but I think the confidence that he gains, we'll see how that affects him from being out there for a whole game, and I was fired up for him.
Yeah, good. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right, so a couple things that we learned here. We're getting some players back. Dante Thornton's back. Michael Mayer's going to be back limited. Like I said last week, the fact that Maxx Crosby wasn't practicing all week was nothing. He's going to play. They're just kind of giving him those veteran days off. I don't think Maxx Crosby needs to fine-tune anything in his game. He's pretty much ready to rock. So save him for the games. Save the tank for the games. He was asked, Pete Carroll is Geno Smith's health the only determining factor if he will play or not? And Pete Carroll said, yes. What that means is if he's healthy, he's starting. So he's not going to get benched for his productivity. Well, this is the, I don't want to say dream scenario, but this is the exact right scenario that would happen and give Pete Carroll a pass to not play Geno Smith. So even if he was inclined to bench Geno Smith being hurt allows him to play Kenny Pickett. If Kenny Pickett plays well, he could just say that Geno Smith is still hurt, keep him on, put him on the IR even. Okay. So it's a kind of a get out of jail free card in that respect, because I said earlier in maybe a couple of weeks ago that Geno Smith is married to Pete Carroll and Pete Carroll is married to Geno Smith. When Pete Carroll convinced the front office, I can win with this team, I need to get a quarterback, I want this guy or whatever, that was Geno Smith. So he's kind of married to him. This is his way to do a quickie, easy divorce by moving on from Geno Smith, but doing it because you, quote unquote, have to. So if things go well with Kenny Pickett, I really find it hard to believe if Kenny Pickett goes out there and plays well in a win or a loss with Philadelphia, I think that he would still get the nod if Geno Smith is not 100%. You don't put Geno Smith out there if he's not 100% ready to go, especially if Kenny Pickett is playing well. Another thing that we learned about this press conference is the fact that Pete Carroll is really going to slow play some of the development of the young players like a Caleb Rogers. I think Caleb Rogers played excellent in the game. He's not going to be perfect because the defense, and especially the defensive line of the Broncos, they get paid too, right? So you're going to have some missteps. But during the game, Caleb Rogers allowed it. 0 penalties, 0 hits, 0 sacks, 0 pressures, nothing. His slate was clean. Nothing came from him. He did a great job, I believe. I believe he was the highest rated lineman and one of the highest rated players overall for the game. So the fact that he's not giving the due owed, I believe, to Caleb Rogers is a little bit concerning in my eyes. It could just be him slow playing it because he didn't play him sooner. I think if you were to gush over him now, it would make his decisions to not play him sooner maybe a little bit run more into question. But who knows at this point, right? When you stop making the main thing, which is winning, right? And maybe, positioning your sons for certain things and this and that, you start making other things more important, and questionable decisions are going to creep up and bite you. And this is one of them that's really creeping up and biting him. Because like I said in the last few videos, if Caleb Rogers is going out there and far outperforming the guys he replaced, who else is out there on this either practice squad? Like Shed Jackson went out there and had a nice catch. He only played, I believe, 4 snaps. Like, dude, he played 4 snaps and he caught a touchdown pass. Like, what the heck, man? Also, Caleb Rogers, Jack Beshe gets a chance to get the ball more and he produces. So who else is available to play that can contribute, right? Who else is on the practice squad? Who else is younger players? Tonka went and got a sack, stuff like that. Are these other guys able to do things that they're not just giving the opportunity to because Pete Carroll wants to go with more veteran guys? It's a shame because I think that this offensive line could have been much further along than it is now had they would have gone, let's say, a DJ Glaze in at guard. Parham was a center. He played center as well. Parham could play center as well. I got a message from a gentleman with the last name Glaze talking about how I talked down about DJ Glaze. I'm assuming it's a relative of some sort of his, which is fine. I totally respect people sticking up for their relatives and everything. I like DJ Glaze as a player. It's nothing personal against DJ Glaze. I feel his skill set is much better suited at guard. I feel if you put DJ Glaze at guard, he would be an excellent guard, a near possible Pro Bowl level guard with the size, with the strength that he has, with the abilities that he has. I believe he can be a much better guard than he is a tackle. Unfortunately, and we see it on tape, some of his movement skills, especially some of his lateral movement skills, aren't as developed as some other players that play tackle. I'm not saying he's bad, but when you want to have a high level offensive line, you want to have a little bit more movement skills laterally than what DJ Glaze is showing. I think that you put him in at guard and take advantage of his strength, his balance, his core strength, his anchor. You do that, I think he'd be a much better guard. I think he'd be, like I said, if you have, you put Glaze, JPJ at center, and Carlos Rogers in at the interior three, that's a strong, young, bully type interior three that can really make things happen. Really keep an eye on that, because I'm telling you right now, if that were to happen either this end of the season or next season, I want to be given credit for it, because I'm telling you right now, that's what I see, and that's what I see as a really strong 1-2-3 unit up the middle in the interior of the offensive line. Speaking of the offensive line, I think that they haven't done this next guy any favors. Ashton Genty, I believe, is much more talented than he's showing because of the missteps and unfortunate play of some of the people on the offensive line, also some of the schemes and stuff like that. But you know what? He's trying his best. He's going out there and trying to do his best out there. So let's hear what Ashton Genty had to say at this week's presser.
Ashton, obviously you guys are on opposite sides of ball, but same side of the ball, not going against each other. But what are your thoughts on Saquon Barkley, Eagles running back?
Yeah, I mean, he's one of the best in the league to me. Obviously, I think he's still having a good year, not quite as big time as last year, but he's a great player. I've been watching him for a long time. Study his game. He does a lot of great things on the field.
You just said you guys are close. He says that often. How frustrating is it when it doesn't translate to wins, but you have all the week of working hard and stuff like that? How frustrating can that get?
It's super frustrating, but at the end of the day, you just gotta look back on those things. A lot of times in football, it seems so small, but it's big in the grand scheme of things, because each and every single play adds up through the course of the game. So we just gotta continue to find ways to clean up our play and execute better when it matters the most.
Does it feel like that you're close as well? Do you kind of get that same sense that Pete does?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say I'm as optimistic as Pete is at sometimes, but I do think a lot of times all it takes is one play, one spark to, change the direction of the game, for us and just for the organization to lead towards wins.
Geno's status is up in the air. Obviously, you played a bit with Kenny when he came in there last week. I'm just curious, what you saw from him and what you liked about what he brought to the offense.
Yeah, I mean, he came in with good energy. Obviously, was able to put some points on the board. So, just execution. He practices well. So, whether he goes or not, I know he's gonna work hard and be ready for the opportunity.
You talked about sometimes it just takes one spark for the team, but individually, do you feel like you just need that one time to just get free and make something big happen?
Yeah, I mean, it can happen at any point. So, when your number's called, when that hole opens up, you gotta hit it.
How do you go about not trying to force that big play to happen and just let it come to you as it does?
Yeah, I think it's just trusting the play calls and then trusting my guys up front, every single play, trust every single one. Don't do your own thing. Don't run a different track. Don't try to do something different just based off the last play. So just trust it. Yeah.
Ashton, what do you think Kenny brings to the offense if he has to start Sunday?
Yeah, I think he'll bring some, juice. Not that Geno doesn't, but obviously I know he's going to come in with that. But he's obviously going to execute, to the best of his ability. Get us lined up right, all those type things, and just put his best foot forward, for us.
Is there a potential that it snows on Sunday? I know you played some games in the snow before. Is that something that could be exciting for you?
Yeah, I mean it's it's cool. I mean your clothes start getting wet and all that, but
We saw one of your draft classmates kind of break out on Sunday, and Jack Besh. What have you seen out of his progression? What stood out throughout the year?
Yeah, just continuing to work. I mean, there was times where he's played more, times where he's played less. He's been working on special teams, been working as a receiver, getting better. each and every single week. Last week he had a great week of practice. I've seen him working really hard, so it was no surprise that he had a great game.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Ash.
Appreciate you.
All right, again, pretty straightforward stuff from Ashton Genty. He wants to go out there. He wants to play. He's optimistic, but it's hard to be more optimistic than Pete Carroll. He comes, not that he's ever pessimistic. He made sure to cover that up, but that Pete Carroll has more perspective on things, having been in the league much longer and knowing how things can turn around. It's really difficult for me to watch a guy like Ashton Genty when the part of the team that he's so reliant on is not performing for him. I think that with some of the changes that we're making, things are getting better, but there's still some holes on this team that need to be filled. Unfortunately, there's some guys that aren't playing as well as they should play, or they could play, I think. And it's just a lot of these guys are kind of thrown together, and it's one of their first or second week together playing. Hopefully, as the season progresses towards the end, these guys that are on the line are going to get more experience playing together, and they're going to improve, and in turn going to help Ashton Genty improve. One of the guys that's actually doing really well for himself is Caleb Rogers. Once he was given the opportunity to play, I believe he slammed the door shut on anyone ever beating him out for his position this season. And he showed that he should have been playing much sooner. And it's kind of a black eye on Pete Carroll. He was benched because he had a bad practice. He plays 2 weeks later, and he's night and day difference from the guys he replaced, which is a tough thing, a tough pill to swallow from Pete Carroll, and tough to come back from as far as that goes. Let's hear what Caleb Rogers had to say in a locker room scrum following one of the practices. This is Caleb Rogers.
Exciting, extremely exciting. It was a blessing. Great to be out there. Great to be out there with the guys. Really loved just being on the field with the offense and staying on the field with the offense. I mean, it was incredible. So,
is the stamina ever an issue in that situation? I mean, you haven't played 70 plays in a while.
Yeah, we have 51 total, probably I think 12 play drives. So maybe breathing got a little heavy, but I mean, nothing we can't sustain. Best part, I guess, about growing up in high school, middle school, high school, and college, tempo offense is my first time getting in the huddle, So being able to, just real quick, is just, a minor adjustment, and it just, I guess, gives me a little confidence in grabbing that little bit extra win versus hurry up and getting on the ball. And then when we do, I've been doing this forever, so, it's just easy to adjust to that.
How difficult was it to learn to be patient and understand that your time is coming?
Honestly, I kind of went through this when I was a junior in college. I really thought it was my time. Everyone told me it was my time. But I think that our standard of play was low at the time, so I thought I was a lot better than I was. And then it wasn't my time. I wasn't the player I thought I was going to be. And so I kind of had to regroup, readjust myself, pour back into my process, allow my process to define my success, not my success to define my process. And, I've had a great group of guys around here that have just poured into me, helping me, speaking to me every single day, trying to learn how to navigate the business side of the NFL. And, the guys around here have really just helped me out the most.
Where's that attitude and that mindset come from?
Again, just going back to that junior year, remembering how lost I felt because of my success didn't appear. And my successes at the time was defining who I was. And so I felt lost. And now changing that, flipping that, my process is who I am. Who I am is what's going to define my process. And when that success and that opportunity comes, I can just apply it to that. And whatever happens, happens. That way I can go back and try and adjust my process based on the outcome and not try to find out how to adjust the success, because you can't control that. And so just focusing on the things we can control. And again, like I said, the guys around here have been great, just pointing to me, talking to me about being patient, and just not letting me get too down,
Yeah. You had said that the handwork and footwork needed some work. What kind of work did you put in for that, and who do you credit for helping you with that?
Again, there are so many people in this building, especially being a rookie. You gotta, decide who to grab stuff from. Everyone's got an opinion on how you can play. Offensive line's a very, very detailed and different position based on who you are and your body type. You can play a certain type of way. So just grabbing different stuff from different people. I was playing so hard, but sometimes it messed up a little bit of my fundamentals. So my effort was making up for my technique sometimes. So just being able to hone those two things in, putting them together, and I think that'll really clean up a lot of my game.
Have you seen your PFF rating at all, and what has that done for your confidence?
Absolutely nothing. PFF does not define, or PFF is not my standard for my success, and they're linked. Go watch the game. 0 sacks, 0 pressures. That's not true. The sack we gave up in the back of the end zone. We all got muddled up, whatever. We didn't throw the ball, but my guy made that tackle. So y'all can give that to me. And then, like I said, I had one I got beat across the face. Effort made up for it. I was able to block the guy, but Geno ended up flushing through the middle of the pocket. Next down, 2nd and 6. So it was a gain. But I'm not going to allow PFF to, define my success. I'm like, okay, PFF says I'm doing good. Like, perfect. We don't care about PFF. We don't look at PFF. My mom sure does. So it's cool for her. But at the end, and it's cool for my wife. It's cool for me if I guess if I wanted to try and look into it. But just really trying to stay away from that stuff, not allowing that to fuel me and say PFF did a good job, so I did a good job. I need to just allow myself to do that myself and move on.
I was just going to say, what's been the vibe amongst the rookie class of just kind of, being encouraging to one another, to making sure that each one of you are, ready when your time comes, and also holding each other accountable?
It's really cool because we're able to pull together, but it's also a little difficult because we are, this is our first time out being here, so we are a little lost in a sense. We have to still be able to reach out to those older guys and get tips and, stuff from them, trying to hone in on how we can be in this business for a long time. But the relationship that we have in the rookie class is amazing. I love this group. I love being able to be around with this group. And we all just try to really hold each other accountable at a high standard so that we can all be around here for a long time.
Saw how fired up you were for that touchdown pass from Geno to Brock. Can you just take us back to that moment and just what that kind of meant to you?
We don't score. We don't have stats. So if the offense scores, I scored. That was my first NFL touchdown. Taking it back to junior year, there was a time when I thought it was my time, and it wasn't, and I thought all my dreams were never going to be able to be reachable again. And so thinking back to that time and coming back to right now where I am, come on. Like, first NFL touchdown, it's an incredible feeling, awesome to be a part of. I love that I'm able to contribute to the team's success however I can. And, hopefully, like I said, we'll have a lot more here, so it's just an awesome feeling.
You guys have gone up against a lot of really good defensive fronts. This one doesn't get any easier this week against Philadelphia. What are your thoughts on those dudes? Just going up against them.
Yeah, again, focusing on my process, cleaning up the things that I need to based on my last game, and allowing the things that I do to determine what how they have to play against me instead of who they are determining how I'm going to play against them. Obviously, you're going to study them, look for the type of things that you can do against certain guys, ways that other people found success against them. And so just taking that for myself and, just putting those two things together, anticipation and technique, how those two things can work together. And, just doing that. So,
what is something that you want to do to keep up the level of consistency that you've had in the past couple of games?
Stick to the process. It's another Wednesday. It's another competition Wednesday. So nothing has changed. I'm not sure if I'm going to be starter this week, if I'm going to rotate, if I'm going to do whatever. And I'm not asking because I don't want what they say to define what my process is going to be. So just keep approaching everything the same way, cleaning up things from last week that I know I need to clean up, and just allowing myself to be ready and prepared for the game, but whichever way it shakes out.
What about those Red Raiders? Got to ask you that.
Come on. Come on. Best defense in the country. Y'all see it every single time. Something that I was just kind of talking about, but Joey says our superpower is how much we love each other. Mm-hmm. I think that this team absolutely loves each other. That's why we keep showing up every single week, regardless of our record, regardless of the circumstance. Still taking the field, still doing everything we need to do. And I want to continue to embody that here because that's the place I came from.
You could totally tell that Caleb Rogers was a multiple-time captain at Texas Tech, that he started 55 games, that he was one of the main guys on that team a year ago by his attitude. you just can't help but be drawn to an attitude like that of a person who's quietly confident and I would say outgoingly humble. And it's not a joke. It's not a put on. This is who he is because he understands. And this is part of this is one of the things I believe that Pete Carroll has done well. He's preached the same thing from the very beginning as far as focus on the process. The process will get you better in time. Don't worry about the end result right now because the end result is not going to be what it's going to be in 1 year. So I'm very encouraged by Caleb Rogers and his play, his ability, his mindset, and his just determination to work and get better. I think that's going to play a really big role for him moving forward with this team. Another guy that has a chance to play this week and probably is going to start is Kenny Pickett at quarterback. Let's hear what Kenny Pickett has to say about the week, what's happening, what he's hearing, and his prospects of going against his former team, the Philadelphia Eagles. Here's Kenny Pickett.
So without Geno practicing today and you're getting those reps, how valuable is that right now to start the week getting the first team reps?
Yeah, I think it's huge. Coming in late like I did, I really didn't have much work with the first team guys at all. So the fact I can go out there and get some, today will be huge.
To do well when you did come in, how valuable was that for you?
It was great. It was great. I mean, the situation was what it was. We're trying to fight to get back into it a little bit. Glad we were able to, find some success in the 2-minute drill, getting into the end zone, getting a field goal at the end.
Kenny, obviously you were in Philadelphia last year. Does that help at all? Like if you're going to go face that defense that you have seen that?
Yeah, I mean, I have a little familiarity with what they do. I know they got great coaches, great players, nothing but respect for all those guys over there. So I know it's a huge challenge for us. Got a long flight out there. Just want to be as prepared as we can be, going in.
What do you feel like your communication's been like with some of the wide receivers, tight ends, guys like Brock?
Yeah, it's been good. Always trying to be involved in those conversations that they're having with Geno, just so I know, where they're going to be, if something happens and I have to go in there. So the communication is ongoing. This week obviously will be huge, depending on what happens. Just continuing to stay involved with everybody.
Kenny, Pete called the throw to Shedrick exquisite. He said the catch was perfect. From your perspective, how would you describe that play?
It was good execution. I was really happy with the execution. I've been working with Shed a lot more than the starters. So, when I had him in there, I felt, really confident that he was going to run the right route, be in the right spot. Timing was perfect. We had the right coverage, so it was just really good execution.
Is that where the trust comes from? Is that you guys have been working together?
Yeah, it goes a long way. It definitely goes a long way when you have, a lot of reps together. I just know where he's going to be. He knows what I'm looking for, so we have good communication together.
Is that the case too with Jack? You guys connected on a handful as well.
Yeah, Jack's working really hard. He comes in the quarterback room every day, an hour before meetings start, and I'll give him a play. He'll go up there and draw the whole play. I'll tell him to give the read, like what I'm looking at, where he's at in the progression. So all things that a young player, should do, and he's doing the right thing. So really happy he was able to get involved and, have some big-time catches for us.
If you do get the start, what kind of opportunity would it be?
It's a great one. All you can ask for is an opportunity. It's a great opportunity. Philly's an unbelievable place to play. I know the fans will be ready to go. They have a hell of a team. They've kept, there's not a ton of new faces on that team. So there's a lot of really good players. I know the coaching staff and how prepared that they're going to be for the game. So it's a great opportunity. I don't know who that is.
I think it's Tyree. I'm going to go with Tyree. My money's on it. Being that you've had time in Philadelphia last year and expecting inclement weather, should you get the start, how much did it help being there and practicing in those conditions to be able to?
Yeah, I'm a Northeast guy, so this is new to me. Like going out and practicing in December and it's 60 degrees every day, so it's unbelievable here. But I'm more used to once you hit November, December to be what it'll be like on game day. So I'm pretty familiar with it.
You've already banked some years. You've got a whole lot of experiences in the NFL. What did you take most out of last year in Philadelphia specifically that you think helped you grow?
Yeah, just seeing what it looks like to be world champions. The dedication, the commitment from every position group. It was really player led. That was a really cool thing. I think we had great veteran leadership, and a lot of those guys are still there. So I know what's on the other side, and like I said before, nothing but respect for everyone over there.
Kenny, obviously, Pete was impressed with that throw, and some guys have a big arm, some don't. And they make up for it in other ways. How would you describe your arm talent at the position?
Yeah, I've got enough to make the throws. I'm confident that I can get the ball, around the field where I need to, and all the concepts that we have, everything that we run. So definitely confident, in what I can do. Right now it's just about, trying to steal as many reps as I can with these guys and get the timing down and stuff like that.
What are some things you do during the week, Kenny, to help prepare yourself for a potential cold and wet ball game?
You could do some wet ball drills and try and get reps that way. I just have a lot of experience playing in that region, so I kind of have a good feel for if it turns into that game, how I'm going to play, how I'm going to what I'm going to do. So just kind of leaning back on prior experiences.
You've obviously worked with Greg Olson since you got here, but now a couple weeks for him as a play caller. What do you like about the way that he calls it the game, just kind of structures an offense?
Yeah, I love Ole. It's really hard to do what he's doing. Calling another coach's system. That's a hard deal, and I think he's doing an unbelievable job with it. He's keeping everybody upbeat. He's adding some new things each week. I think every player is enjoying and we're liking it. He brings a great attitude. So nothing but great things to say about Ole and how he's handled this whole situation.
Some more quiet confidence by Kenny Pickett. He was very confident in the fact that he trusted Shed Jackson in the play that he ran. He ran it a lot. He had a lot of trust in Jack Besh to be where he was supposed to be. And he's had a lot of belief in his abilities. He knows what he's getting into playing in Philly, and he's not scared of it. He knows what he can do. He go out there and make some plays happen. I think it's a guy that has the confidence in himself. He was a first-round pick, only quarterback taken in his draft in the first round. He was a guy that put up a lot of numbers in college. He's a guy that won a lot of games early in his career. He had a winning record at Pittsburgh. And things soured over there for whatever reason, but that didn't shake his confidence any. He got good coaching when he went to Philly. And I think he's a guy that has the ability to go out there and put some good games together. We'll see what happens. I don't suspect Geno Smith is going to play this week. I think it's going to be Kenny Pickett, and I think he's going to go out there and play well. I don't think the wet ball is going to be a big deal. He always wears the gloves. He's used to wearing the gloves, so I think it's going to be fine in the conditions if there's rain or snow or whatever. But as of right now, I'm much more confident in Kenny Pickett doing well in this game than Geno Smith. All right, guys, that's my time for today. Really appreciate you guys watching. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe to this video. It's the next way to support the channel. It's absolutely free. Also, we have the Shield Society. It's a membership. It's $5 a month. If you want to do it and can do it, great. I would gladly appreciate it. If you don't want to do it or can't do it, that's fine too. I'm still giving you a video every single day. I will start doing more like kind of Q&As and mailbag type of stuff for members only. That way I can let my hair down a little bit more and be a little bit freer with what I say, because it's only going to be the bros, right? The Shield Society members. So look out for that. All this, and all I ask for in return is to tell your friends, tell your haters, tell your mamas, tell everybody Raiders versus the world is the greatest and going in Raider Nation today. All right, guys, that's my time. Till next time, everybody. Peace. Hey, Raider Nation. Thanks for watching. There's plenty more where that came from. Go ahead and smash that like button. Drop a comment. Make sure to subscribe and share to all your socials. It's the bare minimum you can do without doing absolutely nothing.